Here we go then for the grid of Motegi. Of course, it is Jackhammer on pole position once again with Trastevere and Adrian on that front row as well. Daniele Eloy lines up in 4th. Christian MM17, your latest winner in 2023, is 5th. And Miki Raiko, a fantastic qualifying from the Indonesian, he is in 6th.
Plat 15 heads up row 3 in 7th place, 8th place. And with work to do, Davide Teresi on another Ducati for Prima Pramac Racing, 9th. Keinster and Gasgas completing the top 10. We can expect to see a charge through the field from Ike 13, whilst at the back of the grid, and with work to do, Spanalongo qualified, not a strong point this year, but we're all ready to go racing here at Motegi for an absolute belter in Japan. 8 laps ahead of us. Can Jackhammer finally convert pole? How good will his start be? Will it be better than his one in Germany? It's a little bit lots of wheelie and coming through. That is Daniele Aloe, but Trast who did a super pole lap in qualified, down has gone. Oh dear, we got crashes everywhere. Down has gone Christian M17, and we've got Daniele Aloe down there as well, I think, or was it Keinz? I can't quite see. Trast is leading. He left it so late in qualifying. He did a proper super pole lap, and he is out front. Wet weather conditions here, Jack, catching out lots of riders from the start.
So this is going to be interesting there. We saw in qualifying that I think Jackhammer, what was he on pole by? Almost half a second in the end. So Jackhammer is the one with the pace in the wet here at Motegi. But there has been time since qualifying, and Trast, although he was not a disaster in qualifying, he did manage to pull out a front row lap in the end. It took him a long time to do so. So this one could tighten up. Let's see how we go.
Trast 73, Daniele Aloe second. We've got Keinster, who's at the back of this field, with a warning for his on-track demeanour. And also we have got that Miki Raiko, who is now in 5th place. He's also under warning. He's battling with Davide Teresi. Teresi, good start from him up from the 3rd row. He's up into 5th. Looking at Jackhammer. Can he try and slither through on Adrian? Not from that far back, he can't. We're at turn 10.
So here we go then, launching onto the back straight for the first time. We're about to fire down into one of the most tricky braking zones on the MotoGP calendar, and we're doing it in the wet. Let's see if anyone has a little bit of an issue getting it stopped down into this dead stop right-hander, 90 degree. Oh, it looks as though everyone's just about got through there safe and sound, and we're going to be flicking through into the victory corner for the first time to complete lap 1, and it is Trastevere with half a second buffer. We didn't see this coming, but Trast is proving why he's the GOAT.
8 laps though, Jack. This is a long race, and it's a lot of time for mistakes to creep in. We saw how tricky it was on the opening lap, but also throughout qualifying yesterday, mistakes were being made right the way through the 15-minute session. This race has not been decided just yet. So we're watching Adrian, the top Honda, Yamaha, Ducati, Honda, KTM, Ducati, Aprilia, the best Aprilia, in 8th place by Spadalongo. But Trast so far doing a good job. He's got just around, hovering between 6 and 7/10 of a second lead over Daniele Aloe. We're expecting more from Jackhammer as this race progresses. And of course, dynamic weather this year, Jack. We could have, in fact, we are starting to see a bit of a dry line. This is the replay of the start, though, Jack. Couple of incidents to talk us through.
Yeah, it looked as though Ike actually got a really good launch off the line. There you see Christian, the winner from the sprint race just a few minutes ago. Absolute disaster for him. He's not carrying that on. And it looks as though Keister just got the rear end out and then got hammered and just ended up right down the back of the field there. So we'll see exactly what those two can do to recover from that. But Christian, who's just lobbed himself back into this championship chase, now has a bit of a mountain to climb.
Keinster actually took out Christian, and then for taking Christian out, Keinster got nailed by Miki Raiko. So what goes around comes around in the MotoGP eSport World Championship. Ooh, that was wide by Daniele Aloe, but I think he's just got it stopped. That might be the Ducati line, because we're looking at Davide Teresi here in 5th place, and he's just carried himself a bit wide as well. Down towards this turn 11, the hardest break. Oh, and through comes Miki Raiko, does he? Showing a wheel, no need to make too many reckless moves. Oh, it's so tight down there. It's squeezing the front brake for as long as it can hold on for. It is so treacherous in these conditions. Miki Raiko in 6th, chasing down Davide Teresi, but out front, Trast now building his lead. It's over 8/10 of a second.
And fastest lap of the race there as well for Trast, 1:48.328. He's barged that lead out, as Kiko says, to just about 8/10 of a second. Here is Christian looking to recover those places he lost for that first turn disaster. He's got Plat 1 for life ahead of him on the VR46. Ducati. Of course, Platform for Life, certainly no slouch this year. Already had 2 podiums in MotoGP eSports, so it's going to be a bit tricky for Christian to pick his way past the Ducati man.
On lap 3 of 8, let's just take you through the top orders at the moment. Trast, Daniele Aloe, Adrian, the top 3. Jack Hammer, who started pole, dropping to 4th and dropping further away from Adrian, who's occupying that final podium place. Davide Teresi, as we've said before, in a battle with Mickey Raikkonen, they're 5th and 6th. Then it's Platform for Life, who is coming under increasing pressure from Christian MM17, Spadalongo, Ike 13, and Keinster in 11th, and rounding out your order. This is Trast, who looks like he is looking very, very smooth. He's looking he's made a lot of progress here from his qualifying. He didn't have an enjoyable qualifying at all. He had a bit of a nightmare, really. Left it so late to get a lap in. There was a couple of incidents. He was out wide. He was not able to get that banker lap in. He managed to put it on the front row, and how crucial was that?
So, Adrian has a reckless riding warning. So, I did see that the gap closed up to about a 10th between him and Daniele Aloe, so not too sure if there was maybe a little bit of contact there. Daniele Aloe did lose a lot of time to Trast on that lap as well. He was about 0.7 behind coming across the line last time, and it's now out to about 1.3. So maybe there was just a little bit of bumping and barging between the factory Ducati and Honda riders. What it has done, though, is meant that Trast, with that 1.3 buffer, is smooth sailing at the front. This is unbelievable from his turnaround in qualifying. Qualifying, he was really struggling to get to grips with the Motegi circuit in the wet conditions, but here, no one can live with him.
Half-race distance, Jack, and that lead of Trast is now coming up to 1.5 seconds very, very soon, unless a mistake from Trast or Daniele Aloe can really get the magnets out. I think we're looking at the race win for the Yamaha rider, the rider who wants to take back that championship lead. He wants to extend the championship lead if he can. We're looking at Adrian, 26, very, very focused, determined to try and get through on that big factory Ducati ahead of him. Factory Ducati and Repsol Honda battling around Motegi in the wet. We've seen that somewhere before.
Yeah, we certainly have. So keep an eye out on this last lap coming up in just a few laps' time, because it could be a little bit of a blockbuster. You have to say that Adrian looks like he's got maybe just a fraction more pace than Daniele Aloe, the rookie, on the factory Ducati ahead of him. But it's really not enough to be able to barge past him. You know, every time he closes in, it looks as though Daniele Aloe's just got enough to keep that 2/10 buffer that he needs to stop Adrian from flying up the inside. But this will be somewhere. Oh, and just as we say that, Daniele Aloe has gone wide. Is Adrian going to pinch through? It does indeed look like he has done. So, after looking cool, calm and collected for 3.5 laps, or 4.5 laps, should I say, now Daniele Aloe is pushed back to 3rd place. You can see there the rookie. That's the first time we've seen him on screen so far in 2023 Global Series, doing a fine job, but now he has to be careful that Jack Hammer will be wanting to do the same as Adrian.
He looks rather stony-faced as well, not happy with that mistake at turn 10, so we're coming to the end of... We're coming into the second half of this race, the end of the first half, lap 5 now. So, Adrian into second. Wow, that Ducati moving around everywhere. It's moving so much, it's almost got changed its postcode, I think, there. 4th place of Jack Hammer now. He's going to be a believer. Daniele Aloe will be looking now really to hold on to that 16 points all he's on for. He's missing apexes everywhere at the minute. Jack Hammer won't need a second opportunity. Jack Hammer is in this title race this year. If he can polish up his races as much as he's polished up his 1 lap pace, he'll be right there. But out front at the moment, Trast, the goat is grazing in Japan.
The goat is grazing indeed. We've seen Jack Hammer then steely focus there from the young Brit. He'll be very, very keen to get past Daniele because, of course, the 2 in the championship that are ahead of him are 1st and 2nd right now. So it's an absolute... Platform for Life has gone down. He's crashed out of 7th place. We'll see where that shakes out in the order. I think he might maintain in 10th because Ike 13 is, was a little bit behind. He does actually go behind. Oh, we do have... Christian has a warning for a long lap penalty, so he's got 1 more strike left on his report card, and if he does that, then he will be firing down into the long lap area, as though Jack Hammer now is really applying the pressure to Danny.
Oh, wide at turn 10, but not enough that time around, so Jack Hammer really looking to try and see if he can find a way through on the Ducati. This second half of the lap is where the Ducati has looked a little bit vulnerable, and the KTM is always coming into its own as this race goes on. We saw Jack Hammer with good late race pace in the Global Series first round, and is he Is he dragging Davide Therese? Oh, the inside, surely not. 67, Jackhammer had a massive think about it, and that's kindly rolled into the back of Daniele Aloi there, and they definitely are bringing Davide Therese along with him now.
He's got to run, a little bit of slipstream coming down the start straight. Doesn't look like he's going to get through here unless he keeps it a little bit tight. Maybe he'll get the run. Oh, hey, look at the gap at the front. It's only 2/10. Trask must have made a massive mistake, but anyway, the battle for third is still raging on. Jackhammer, he's right alongside him now, down into turn 2. Is he going to dive on the inside? Squeezes him on the apex, but Jackhammer looks like he is through.
Good move, he just ghosted his way through there, put his bike in a position where Daniele Aloi just could not respond to him. And that is a slick move from Jackhammer, the 67 up into third place. But out the front, we need to see the battle for the front because Trask is under pressure from Adrian. Adrian is absolutely chasing down Trask here with 2.5 laps to go.
Plus, look at those long lap penalty warnings. We've got 4 strikes out of 5 for Trastevere on his track limits report card. So if he does one more, he will be firing down into that long lap penalty loop, and that will surely mean his chances of victory are over. Of course, Trastevere looking for his 3rd win of the Global Series this season already if he does manage to convert this one. But Adrian hasn't won yet. And
what did we say about Jackhammer? If he polishes up his races performances, he might be in contention. If these two tangle out front, Trask and Adrian, he might be right there anyway.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens now as we're going to have 2 laps to go as we come across the line this time round. It looks as though Trask has just weathered the storm for now. The gap was right down to less than 2/10, but it's back up to that kind of almost comfortable buffer of 4 or 5/10. But it's not a happy feeling when you look behind you and you see the reigning world champion right there. Although he did make a little bit of a mistake there. That wasn't the cleanest run out onto the start straight. So 2 to go then for Trask. He has to be perfect now.
He does, and look at that steely focus there, which we see Trask looking right down the barrel of another victory in the 2023 Global Series as we try and come through. Adrian, half a second, he's within striking distance with if Trask makes another mistake. Let's see if that happens. Jackhammer, he's got 3rd in a minute. It's not all over. If you look at the background of shot, you will see that Daniele Aloi has definitely not given up just yet.
You can see there the tyre graphic that was in the bottom right hand of the screen. There's absolutely no rear tyre left for Trask, so it's not much of a wonder as you see them wiggling around every time they tip into the corner. That tyre is struggling, and as a result we have seen lap times drop off just a fraction. So this one could well be who has just that fraction more rear tyre left as we go down into the final closing stages.
And don't forget as well, a bit of moving around on the bike, if that pushes you out wide and over the curbs and onto the green, Trask absolutely cannot afford for that to happen. So he's got to be so gentle on the power. He can't allow for any mistakes here. It's got to be the perfect last sector and a whole lap to go at Motegi. Adrian contrasting, but wide out wide.
Time there.
Adrian contrastingly, unless he hits the green 4 times between now and the end of this race, is not going to be troubled with a long lap. So Adrian, very, very clean. He's late on the brakes there as well.
Extremely late.
You can almost tell Trask is tensed up a bit here. He knows that Adrian's right there, but he's doing well so far.
I tell you what, it's 1 lap to go, and Adrian is winding the wick up here. He's closed right in. It's back down to 2/10 of a second as we fly onto the final lap. We're in for a grandstand finish with Adrian, the reigning world champion, and Trastevere, the 3-time eSport world champion. Who's it going to be out of the factory Yamaha or the factory Honda?
Battle of the Japanese manufacturers for Japanese honours at home. Trask leads so far by a 1/4 second, down in towards this heavy braking area. We've seen Adrian so good in the braking areas. Trask goes in early, just about gets it stopped, but Adrian's got so much more tyre. He's able to hold those tighter lines down and coming down one of the many back straights here at Motegi, down towards another heavy braking area. And again, Adrian's right there. Trust so far. Oh, he lost it a little bit in the middle of the corner. That is not going to help him on this run under the bridge and back out into this fast S's section.
Right then, we're into the S's section. Adrian has to make up a couple of attempts here if he wants any chance at victory. He's got to be absolutely 100% perfect. We go on board with him now as we flick right. This one's tighter than you think. Be patient with the throttle, especially with that rear tyre. It's absolutely gone. The gap is still almost around 4/10. I don't think this is going to be enough. We're about to come onto the back straight. Can he close in enough to be able to strike in this last sector?
Turn 10 is where we've seen mistakes made before. Trask, will he get it stopped and anchored up this time? Oh, he's perfect. The most perfect he's been in this entire race at turn 10. He knew how important that would be. So, unless late break-in by Adrian down in towards this dead stop 90-degree right-hander at turn 11, unless he can really close in and then for an attack in the chicane maybe that ends this lap. I don't think it's going to happen. It's been a great ride by Trask. A little bit of pressure at the end, but he's resisted it well. We're into the final chicane. I can't see any change. Trask is going to take victory here in Japan. Yamaha are going to be top Japanese dog in Japan. He celebrates already. Trask takes victory ahead of Adrian. Jack Hammer is in third place by the looks of it, ahead of Davide Teresi, who pinches fourth and top Ducati honours. But Trask is your race winner.
So it will be once, twice and 3 times a winner in 2023 for Trastevere 73. The GOAT of eSport has done it again this season with Adrian, the reigning world champion. That hunt for a first race victory in 2023 goes on, but he is whacking in those podiums, so certainly his championship challenge is looking good. We'll have to see how the standings shake out after this one because it's going to be close. Jack Hammer finishes third after being on pole for this one as well. Not too bad, but he'll still be a little bit disappointed. Davide Teresi finishes fourth and Daniele Aloe finishes fifth in the end after running second early on. Mickey Raikko in sixth. Good job from him. I think that's his best result so far for the Indonesian. Christian MM17 rounds out